I'm about to go canoe camping with somebody that I've just met for the first time. As crazy as that sounds, I'm really excited about it. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna bring you with. We are going out for a couple nights in the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota, and it's absolutely beautiful this time of year. There aren't any bugs. The leaves are really changing, and there's a chance for northern lights tonight. I've brought a lot of warm clothes because it's supposed to be pretty chilly on this trip because it's October in Minnesota. It's a beautiful day, but it's definitely a little bit windy, so hopefully the water's not choppy and we can get to a campsite that we like and hang out there. All right, now I'm gonna drive to the entry point to meet the person that I'm going on this trip with. I drove right past the entry point and came here to this little clearing area because I didn't want to record that telling you what's happening in the parking lot because there are other people in the parking lot, and you get it.
Have you ever been here before?
I have one time, I think, only.
They probably were built before this was actually the Boundary Waters. Not too bad. I'm gonna slow you down. I'm gonna be
Wow. We made it to camp. This campsite has a cool rock. No fires on this trip.
no what?
No fires on this trip.
No fires.
But there's always trash in the fire. The goal is to not be cold, so I have a very, very, very warm sleeping bag. It's probably overkill, but I don't want to be cold tonight. And then I have a little down blanket for extra warmth if I need it. And usually I bring clothes in here, and it's usually not that full, but my clothes that I brought are so warm and thick. That's full. And I have another one full of clothing. So I don't think I'll be cold on this trip, but the weather is supposed to be like 50s and 60s. So right now it feels pretty good. Probably no swimming on this trip though, but we're setting up our tents and kind of getting situated. I thought it was gonna feel colder than this, but it actually feels perfect. I do have this jacket on, but I probably don't need it. It is so nice out. We've just kind of been hanging out. Diane's been telling me a lot of stories about her life and about camping, and she's camped at this campsite before, so that's kind of cool. I've been on this lake before, but I've never camped on this lake before, so we'll see how the fishing is, see how things go. When I'm out camping, I like to check out the trees around camp. This first one is a white pine and it's fairly young. You can tell it's a white pine because these needles are long and they're in groups of 5, like 5 little needles to a cluster. I really like jack pines. If you know me, you've probably heard me go on about them. They have shorter and very pokey, rigid needles in clusters of 2. The trees tend to look kind of scruffy, scraggly. This is a spruce tree, so the needles are even shorter, and they grow all around the little branches all the way to the end. And again, this is the jack pine, and that's the jack pine in all of its glory.
Late night strolling, far from home, and horizon looking like a sunset dream. Midnight talking, water crashing, evening feeling like a postcard scene. 'Cause it's just us two, dancing with the moon, my arms wrapped around you. Sea of diamonds, I can tell the difference to your eyes. Morning's coming, we're not rushing. I'll lie with you until the end of time. When it's just us two, dancing with the moon, my arms wrapped around you.
morning. If you ever decide to plan a camping trip in October or November, especially on a boat or on a canoe or a kayak in Minnesota, it's true that the wind like this is the norm. It tends to be very windy as the seasons change here. Oh yeah, I see from here.
Flavor and oatmeal for that time.
Diane and I really didn't know each other that well before this trip, but every time we were cooking, we would sit and talk and share camping stories, and that was really special. We're having oatmeal and warm drinks for breakfast, and the wind is picking up. The wind didn't die down all night long. It was just windy, and you could hear it in the trees, which I kind of like. And I stayed definitely cozy and warm in my tent, but the wind is picking up even more now, and we're probably not going to get out on the lake much, but we have lots of things to do here. It's not so cold that I really need all of this, but I like to be cozy. It's a beautiful day. I don't mind the wind, but it's blowing. This is like a pink granite. You can see the pink hues in the rock.
Just pops off. It's an old film canister.
This is great. Diane made her own little mini version of Farkle, but with a little bit different scoring system, and kind of gave it her own name and rules. We played this game at camp for a while, and she ended up gifting it to me afterwards.
1, 2, 2, 3, 5, 6.
That was close.
150 points. Alright. From one hand or
It doesn't matter. 1 point. So you can keep going, or you can just have 1 point for the round. 1 point. Double Razorback, that's 20 points.
I better stop right there.
Are we just smaller versions of a bigger home? Are you the rivers in your veins? Am I the flakes that become snow? And you might believe that everything is broken. Fragments of sentences we haven't spoken, but maybe.
So this is duct insulation. And this is just the kind of almost a tin foil type tape.
Diane had made her own dried food for this trip. She brought us some dried spaghetti and some dried Korean beef dish. And in order to make those, She wanted to create little koozies for the dishes that the food would be reconstituting in, so it would stay warm during the time that it reconstitutes. So her and I spent some time hand making these, and it was kind of a cool experience because I haven't used handmade versions of this before, and it's just nice to see what other people do when they're camping.
Sometimes it's easier to have it on your sheet. So you might watch and say, that's not very good for the blade of your fillet knife, and it might not be. But it's the knife I had handy. Okay, and then I just need another little chunk of tape to go the rest of the way here.
Thank you.
A little firm, but
Okay. Tastes good.
I think that I would break up my hamburger even smaller when I fried it, when I browned it. So it's just real fine,
Mm-hmm.
because it'd be easier for it to reconstitute.
Mm-hmm. I think it's good though.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do first?
I don't remember. I think he started with the tail. We turned on the weather radio, which said that there is a chance of strong winds, 45-mile-per-hour winds tonight, and thunderstorms, and potentially hail and power outages. So, might be a little windy, but that's part of being outside and being in nature. Is those kind of things happen. The weather isn't always perfect. And it's been a little bit chilly this trip, but honestly overall it's been pretty good weather. But we've been cozy and comfy and had a great time doing lots of different activities. This camping trip definitely looks different than other camping trips that I've done. Some new things, some new foods, some new ways of camping. So that's kind of cool. And this area is really pretty. It's definitely fall here. You can see the oranges and the reds and the bright yellows in the trees. But for the most part, it's all pine trees here, so it still looks pretty green. Last night there was a chance of northern lights, and I got up and checked the sky, and you could see a little bit of a glow, but nothing that you could really capture. I did a little bit of a time lapse on my GoPro, and it only lasted 5 seconds worth of time lapse before the battery died, because it just takes so much battery to do that. But I think you can maybe see a little bit of a greenish, purplish glow. We've definitely got some interesting looking clouds, but it doesn't look so bad over here. This has already passed over us. That was the rain. Those clouds were what carried the rain in. It is supposed to start storming between like 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, that looks so good.
Isn't it amazing how that cabbage reconstitutes?
Yeah, it's crazy. Everything looks fresh. It is so windy outside right now. I am definitely not gonna be able to fall asleep anytime soon. It's like crazy windy outside, and I was just gonna get up and just kind of like check things out, but now it's raining, so I just put on a couple layers to go out, but I'm definitely gonna wait. But right now we're in the middle of like a quiet part. But one of the wind gusts specifically was so crazy. Oh, it's so windy out there. Brr. It is very cold right now. Definitely need mittens and a hat and warm clothes today. No questions asked. Last night I did not sleep pretty much at all. It was so windy, like gusts that made me literally cover my head in case branches or a tree fell. Crazy wind. Definitely an experience, but we were planning on getting up and trying to leave this morning. The lake actually doesn't look too bad, which is weird. I guess it's the direction of the wind, but it is very windy and very cold. Burn. I just got out of my tent. I don't even know what time it is. My phone's dead. Everything's dead, but I'm gonna go brush my teeth. But I wasn't cold at night, at least, luckily. My sleeping bag, that's a good one. You can't see the hand gesture I made, but It's a good one.
Stunned like a cat. You show the scars of your darkest night. In the morning light, I have waited for you. I have waited so long. Oh.
One of the thoughts in my head this whole trip has been that this is likely my last Boundary Waters trip of the season, and soon there will be snow and ice, and if I come back soonish, that's what it's gonna look like. So I won't be back anytime in the next probably month or so. We'll be at the cabin if you want to check us out there, but it's always kind of sad leaving the Boundary Waters on what is probably the last time of your season, because it's just such a long winter without the waves and the water. And so that's kind of been on my mind. I've been trying to take in this trip more than usual, because it probably will be a long time before I come back and have this kind of summer, even though it doesn't feel like summer today, summer experience. The wind last night, I know I've already talked about it, but the wind last night was wild. It was so crazy, especially there were like 2 or 3 gusts they went on for such a long time, and I was basically holding my breath, covering my head, because I thought for sure I was gonna get impaled with a branch. It's the kind of weather that would take down a tree